All right, I'm making sure we are live, and I think we are. I see us, and we are good to go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of Boys Town Donor Week. My name is Gabby. I have been your host for the week. We have gone live every single day at the Boys Town Hall of History and virtually here with several wonderful guests to thank you, our incredible Boys Town donors. So thank you for all your support. And as we go through this live discussion today with John Etzell, we are doing a live giveaway. I'll go ahead and show that here. If you want a chance to win a bag of goodies from the Boys Town gift shop, go ahead and make sure you like this video and leave a comment below, and you'll have a chance to enter, and we will draw that. So, John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Gabby. I'm very glad and thrilled to be here. Appreciate it.
Yes, we've got our founder, Father Edward Flanagan, right on John's shoulder, joining the live today, which is very special because his birthday is coming up this Saturday, July 13th. So it's great to have you on. John, tell us a little bit more about yourself and, well, you've held several roles at Boys Town. If you want to start at the beginning and then tell us what you're up to now.
Can do. And I appreciate the quick shout out to our founder, Father Flanagan. He is always sitting over my shoulder in a whole lot of meetings with a variety of quotes as well that he is certainly famous for. Upcoming birthday here on Saturday. Boys Town's got a lot to look forward to in a few days with that celebration as well. Yes, currently the executive director of the Boys Town, Nevada site, as well as the national director over our LIFT education umbrella of services. But my background and history with Boys Town is long. I started back in 2000 as an assistant family teacher working in Omaha, Nebraska, at our corporate headquarters there. My wife and I graduated college and knew that we wanted to work and with kids and have a larger impact. We had some family friends that had worked for Boys Town and really came and loved it. Fell in love with the campus, fell in love with the mission, especially that everybody deserves an opportunity for a chance to improve their skills. And we saw that firsthand when we worked in Omaha as a family teaching couple. 7 out of our first 11 years with Boys Town, we were living with kids. We had about 115 kids come through our home during those 7 years. Mostly teenage boys, but also we had young kids for a little bit when we worked out in Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
We went out there and worked out there for 5 years as well. Thoroughly enjoyed that opportunity to see that site grow, add their family teaching, their campus, and their 5 homes that they've got there. And then it came out here to Nevada in 2019 as the executive director, and thrilled to say that we've seen our programs and our opportunity to help kids and families continue to grow since I've been here. So I've got a fantastic team that truly makes all of that happen. But truly, of course, none of this happens without our wonderful donors from Nevada and from around the country and around the world. So thank you for that, for continuing to give me the opportunity to have an impact in the community in which I'm, a part of here. I love it.
Yes, wonderful. And we're very glad to have you. So, over your many years of service at Boys Town, how has our services adapted to the changing needs of children and families in the community?
Yeah, I think what I've seen over the last almost 25 years is that the organization is committed to listening to the community, utilizing our research, and all of the work that goes into that to ensure that we're keeping up with the trends and we know what's happening, we know what's going on. Everything from the increase from our behavioral health clinics, meaning the child psychologists that we're hiring, the autism work that we do, knowing that the prevalence of autism has grown significantly over the last 20, 25 years, and education, which our site here and what we do a lot of is focus on supporting teachers, supporting schools, supporting districts in ways that nonprofits maybe haven't necessarily done before.
Mm-hmm.
And Boys Town is leading the way in that innovation level, from evidence-based programs, which is just a fancy word of really saying that we know this works and we've got the science to go ahead and back it up. Our funders like to hear those things, and we put the time and the effort in to make sure that happens. So the organization continues to push forward We're never, settled with where we're at, and we're always looking to continue to how can we be a better partner in the communities in which we are in, and throughout the country in the areas that our national, based programs can go into, where we don't necessarily need a brick and mortar site such as a Boys Town, Nevada. We can go and support communities in a wide variety of ways, and I love that the organization is committed to doing that short and long term.
Mhm. Yeah. And a lot this week during Donor Week with these live videos, we've talked about an array of Boys Town programs, including the Family Home Program, in-home family services. Yesterday, we talked with Yvonne about the Boys Town National Hotline. And today, the big reason I wanted to have John on is we want to know more, John, about Lift Together with Boys Town. What is that program of ours?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Lift Together with Boys Town is truly an umbrella of some of those services which you just mentioned, but a very targeted approach to support schools, to support school districts, teachers, students, and families in ways that we know work to improve attendance in schools, to improve overall behavior of the kids in schools, and the teacher's ability to manage their classrooms. I think in so many of our communities, we hear the work that teachers are doing. Think back to COVID, and truly the heroes that teachers and nurses and medical professionals were, because they were managing through a very difficult and challenging circumstance. What Lyft has done to continue to support teachers and schools in that fashion is we've created a model
Mhm.
that combines many of our programs, from direct behavior work in schools, or we've got what we call, behavior interventionists that go directly into a school and work with those kids that might just be struggling a little bit. Maybe they've had an office referral, maybe they've gotten they've earned a detention for something that they've done, but we're working on improving and strengthening their social skills. So their ability to get along with other kids, their ability to listen to a teacher, their ability to stay on task in a classroom, even when the material might not be the most exciting or might not be their most favorite thing in the world,
Mhm.
to pay attention to. I mean, think about that. We've all sat through those classes. We've all been a part of that.
Mhm.
Uh, that is not new to anyone. But where we excel in is improving those social skills and teaching the kids how to use those. We combine that with training that we provide for the teachers, and that training comes in a wide variety of ways. It can be in person, it can be digital, it can be live streamed. The organization has been committed to providing an on-demand platform that teachers can access anytime that they want. And I'll be the first to say, teachers work really, really hard, because they love kids, they love their schools, they love the content area that they are focused on. And so they end up taking their work home a lot of times with them. And
Right.
some of that is some of that professional development. So when we've been able to implement our on-demand training, that gives teachers an opportunity to learn when it's most convenient and when it's best for them. So that's been a big addition for us here in the last 2 years as well. But the impact and the reach that we've seen this program have, it continues to to grow and grow and grow. Between our sites that we've got around the country, we're in more than 100 schools. We train more than 5,000 teachers, and we've impacted and served well over 100,000 kids, just in the 22 or the 2023-24 academic year. Think
Mhm.
about those numbers. That is significant. And again, because of our donors, because of our funders, and the folks that believe in our model and believe in our program and know that we continue to innovate, it makes such a big difference for us to be able to go into a community and say that we've got backing to be able to start things like this. And it truly is because of our donors that we've been able to see this move forward, and make it into a model that makes such a big difference. You mentioned the in-home family services. So as I said, we've got teacher training, we've got the behavior work in the school from our direct care staff, but the third component is that we've got those services that go into the homes and work with the families that might need a little bit more support. Most educators, most administrators will tell you that sometimes it's those 5 to 10% of the kids and families that just need a little bit more support because they don't have it for a wide variety of reasons. Our trained staff will go into those homes and work right alongside them. We'll find out what their strengths are. We'll find out what they're really good at and continue to, help them get better at that while also supporting some of the areas that they may need, a little bit more in. And that could just be setting up a routine. What does homework time look like in your house? Are you doing it at the kitchen table? Are you doing it around the couch? Are you doing it in the backyard? Wherever that may happen, we're going to help them set that routine up. For some families, it could be they're in danger of losing their apartment, their condo, their townhome, their housing. We're going to connect them with community resources, so hopefully that does not happen. We're going to get them connected to a physician. If they don't have a doctor, we'll help them get insurance, through the Medicaid provider that makes the most sense for them. Truly that case management perspective, but from the side that we want to teach them to learn how to do it on their own. We want to teach them to fish per se, as opposed to just handing it out. And that part, when you can create that level of self-sufficiency from a family, wow, the difference in the impact that makes is truly significant. So we love having that opportunity. And this program, again, serving more than 100,000, kids and training teachers. The impact has been tremendous these last few years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love what you said too, how much Boys Town does the wraparound. It's not just in schools. It's not just in the home. It's not just in the community. It's hitting all of those points and, extending our resources and kind of removing those barriers that, a lot of the families and kids that are in these situations, it almost is like they are facing this big mountain and don't even know how to take the first step to climb it. So, Boys Town being able to go and kind of lead in that way and help in all of those different areas is so unique to Lift and is very special.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we hear from, from school districts, from principals and teachers in particular, is that some of the services that we're able to put into place ends up kind of being that glue that sort of binds the school together. It gives them a common set of language as to how we talk to kids, how we motivate kids, and even in those discipline times, how we correct some of their behavior, but in a way that reinforces them that it's okay to make mistakes because we're going to help you through that. And I think sometimes there are some models and there's some practices out there that just don't do that. Right. And we are fantastic at understanding the value of that, positive motivation and that internalization of the skills that we're working on with the kids and families and even teachers as well. So it is exciting.
And it's research backed. When we go into schools and teachers are really struggling with, this problem or that problem, they don't want to do a test and see approach. It's that they say, we need something that works. And Boys Town, our Boys Town model is decades and decades old and is research proven. So
yes, and on the education side, our team that's been collecting this data for 25 plus years is just fantastic. And what we're finding is, we're seeing teachers who are implementing, what they're learning. They feel better about their classroom. They feel safer in their classroom, and they're more likely to continue in the profession of teaching because they know that the skills that they've got now when it comes to managing sometimes classes of 30, 35, even 40 kids is really, really hard. And if you don't have some of the behavioral understanding as to why kids make decisions that they do, and as somebody who has, lived with a lot of kids, you get a chance to see that, full through. And the teachers, once they realize that, man, the difference that it makes and the relationships that they build are just tremendous. So anytime that a teacher has a chance to make that connection with a kid, over something, and then and be able to use that and say, hey, let's work on following instructions. Let's work on staying on task because it's going to help you also, at your swim meet, listening to your coach or whatever it may be. That they've learned, from the kid as they've developed that relationship makes such a big difference.
Yeah. John, I want to hear more about going into the schools? I know recently we went into a school with Trent Garrett, who is one of our
Yep.
wonderful partners. Tell us about how that visit went.
Yeah, that visit with Trent was fantastic. He came into a few schools here in Las Vegas just a couple of months ago, and shared some of his story, shared some of the challenges that he's had, that he's seen, and the importance of kids supporting each other and kids lifting each other up during times of difficulty. But I tell you, the kids when they saw him, they're kind of like, I'm pretty sure I recognize him. I'm not quite sure where.
Yes.
And then when we would play the clip, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I can't believe it's him. And all of a sudden, we had kids raising their hand or wanting to get up from their chair and say, can you autograph? And they all kinds of things that they wanted to autograph, from pieces of paper to notebooks to lunch
Yeah.
boxes and water bottles.
Yes.
Everything that they wanted Trent to go ahead and be a part of. Lots of pictures taken. The kids had a great time, but we ended up making these fun bracelets of positive affirmations
Yeah.
that the kids were focused on, knowing that they can overcome something, that they can accomplish a task. And Trent had so much fun doing that, and that his enthusiasm, just permeated throughout the classrooms, and the kids got really excited about doing that. And they could choose whatever positive affirmation that they wanted, whether it was for themselves or for a classmate who might be having a hard time. Then they created bracelets, with those words around them, so they can look down at that and say, "Okay, I am worthy. I am enough. I can help. I am smart." And these were, third, fourth, and fifth graders, typically, that were in these classes. So fun to hear how creative they got as well. Some kids talked about, I'm the best basketball player. Got pretty specific, but yeah, that was a great time. The kids had so much fun with him.
Very sweet. What about other success stories? Is there one, within the last year or two that really sticks out to you, whether it be in a school, with a family, that you want to share?
Yeah, I can think of a principal that I saw just a few months ago,
Mhm.
of an elementary school, and I typically will ask, as my staff will as well. Tell us what some things that are going well in your school. What are some of the changes that are happening? And she talked in particular, just sort of on the continuum of all of the things that lift encompasses. She talked about a teacher who had been struggling in her class to maintain relationships. And she was getting a lot of office referrals, in particular, coming from this classroom in years past. And once we had the training with this particular teacher, have gone back in, every couple of months and reconnected, done some observations to make sure she's implementing the model as she's supposed to be. And she was so open to the feedback and open to the coaching sessions, that the principal had said, John, this was a teacher who I wasn't quite sure, was she going to make it, in this school? And the work that Boys had done, the work that they had done as a school to be consistent with the implementation of our well-managed schools model made all the difference. And all of a sudden, and not all of a sudden, but over the course of a year, she felt like, oh, I can do this. I can do this in the classroom with second graders that I've got, because I know how to motivate them. I know how to set them up for success, better than a historical model of, I'm going to punish you if you don't do what I say. And the way that she works with the class now, she's proactive. Hey, this is what's coming up next. Don't forget, this is how we transition from my classroom to the music room. This is how we, use our quiet hands and feet as we walk to the lunchroom. Being proactive like that ended up making a huge difference. And this principal was sure that it ended up saving her career as a teacher, that she was better able to work with the students that she's got, to do what she does best, which is teach. She had the skills then to be able to manage the classroom, and very minimal office referrals coming from that classroom now. So that was one from a teacher perspective. From a kid and a family side, man, there's so many stories from around the country, of the work that we're doing, whether it's in Florida or out in Rhode Island. or central Nebraska. So many stories, but all have got a pretty consistent theme of there was a student, who was ending up in the office quite a bit, with office referrals and defiant type of behavior. Um, and when they were able to work with our behavior interventionist, who was, in the school with them, they were able to learn some of the skills. They were able to practice those skills in a safe space and then work on implementing them when they were in tough spots. Were they successful all the time? Not necessarily, but they had the backing of our staff to be able to, okay, this is what I did well. This is what I need to get a little bit better at. And then the other theme was for those folks that use the wraparound services from Boys Town, who then, as a referral from the assistant principal or from the school social worker, would come out and say, I think this family could use a little bit more support. It's 100% voluntary. The families don't necessarily have to, be a part of it. So it's so important for us to build those relationships with the families. And when that happens, the change that they see, and again, so many principals, making the comment that that family now is excited to come to school. We see them showing up to parent-teacher conferences. They come to the after-school events or the evening events that perhaps they didn't before, because they feel more comfortable talking with the teachers. And when you can, it might have been the fourth grader that got into some trouble. Chances are there's a second grader in that family. There's a seventh grader in that family as well. So Boys Town works from that holistic approach where it's not necessarily just the one kid. We're looking at it from a family-centered approach, and that makes such a big difference. So yeah, lots and so many kids and families from that side that principals just are thrilled that instead of being one of those 5 or 10% of the kids and families that get into trouble, they're now on the other side of it, and they're a positive support in the greater school continuum, which is fantastic to hear for sure.
Yes. And, it's all made possible by those of you who are watching who support Boys Town. So, we've talked this week a lot of the times when you go to Boys Town, you might be thinking, oh, it'll help one child in this program or one child. It is a snowball effect that helps thousands of kids, families, and people in the community every year. So, John, for all of those people watching now who are considering a gift to Boys Town, what would you say to them after being here for so long?
First, I would say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your consideration of a donation to an organization that is 100% committed to caring for kids, families, schools, communities, healthcare. Boys Town has got such a diverse range of services. You can be guaranteed that your dollar, that your funding, no matter what that is, are going towards programs that are having a lasting impact on kids and families and changing the trajectory of communities. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, John, thank you for sharing more about the Lift Together with Boys Town program. It's awesome that we got to highlight it here during Donor Week. For those of you watching, we are going live one more time tomorrow with two of our incredible alumni. We'll have Jay Ballard on and Dominic Barrett joining us to talk about their time at Boys Town. So make sure to tune in live tomorrow at noon Central for the last live. And thank you again for all your support, not just this week, but year round. And we really appreciate it. So thanks, everyone.